Hello everyone and welcome to GT-R News Weekly. Now, new parts are still being developed for the GT-R even though it started over 30 years ago. And a new part that we saw while we were in New Zealand was ST Hi-Tec's engine brace, which is for RB26 and for RB30 with the four-wheel drive adapter as well. But rather than me show you and talk about it, we caught up with their CNC guy so he can run you through it.
Hi, my name's Bruce from OneWorks in Auckland, New Zealand. ST Hi-Tec approaches me with a problem that they've got or a product that they want for the market, and they give me all the resources that I need to get that done. First product we did for them was a coil kit, oil caps for them, and the braces. Definitely plans for much more from now on. So myself, I've come into the game quite late, certainly not the first to do any of this. So most of the braces are going to be very similar from whoever makes them because you're restricted with what you can do. The sump is the same, where it attaches to the engine, the same, the girdle, the same, the room that you've got to work with within the engine and the space that's left over, the same, and there's not much there either. So they all end up pretty much the same. We wanted to make sure that our product was different to the others that are on the market. The key things that we found that we wanted to improve on was the oil control, and that was by introducing a windage tray. OEM engine setup has a windage tray. We figure if you are going to add an aftermarket part to an engine, it should only improve on stock, not take away from what's there from stock. So we added in the windage tray. The RB30 has the pickup in a different location to the 26. Getting the pickup from where it is on the 30 to where it needs to be to suit the 26 sump is quite the challenge in the best of circumstances. Not a whole lot of room there, so to get it there is very difficult. One of the things that I wanted to make sure I did was to keep the same cross-sectional area of the standard oil pickup throughout the system, which we have succeeded in doing. Adding the brace adds thickness to where the oil pickup would be. So we've made a little spacer that spaces it out. We could have not done that and just had the oil pickup go down, but you would have had to modify the standard pickup then, which a lot of people are doing anyway, but we wanted to have the option to not. We've added an O-ring groove on both sides of that, so we know that people have a lot of trouble finding the gaskets for the stock pickup, so we've added an O-ring groove to the other side. A little bit of thickness with the brace allows you to move the sump down and you can put a little bit more oil in. A little bit more oil is always a good thing. Right, so the RB30 kit includes the brace, obviously. We've then got this, which is part of our oil transfer system. That goes on the bottom side of the brace in here. This is machined initially and then it's bolted onto the brace itself and decked off at the same time, so these two surfaces are exactly the same height. This is part of the system that takes the oil pickup from where it is on the 30 and moves it over to where it needs to be on the 26, which would normally come out about this location here. We've then got that, which is a cover for the oil transfer system that goes on and helps allows the oil to transfer through to where the pickup is, which is about the largest point of the sump where the standard pickup would normally be. In our massive kit of bolts and nuts and everything that comes with it, we've got a steel part which screws in here, and that takes a 16mm steel tube which allows you to make your pickup to whatever length will suit the sump that you've got for your vehicle. Every RB that's built to produce power will have more oil capacity than standard, that's a given. The way in which people achieve that, there's so many different ways. So we can't make a single solution that will suit everything. Some people widen the sump out to get the volume that way, some people add depth to it, so that's always going to be different. And we don't want to make a standard part that people think, yes, we can just go ahead and use this, and then have it be in completely the wrong position for their sump setup. Last, we've got the fixing support. Again, the RB30 is not really designed to take the sump of the RB26, so it doesn't have all the bolt holes needed. This supports the bolts where they won't be supported by the block. We've made it as a one piece to make it easier to work with. So in order to fit this to the RB30, you need to machine the main girdle down so that it's a set distance from the pan rail to the top of the girdle and flat right through. You also need to drill out and tap all the holes for an M8 fixing instead of the M6. This is just to give a bit more strength. And finally, there's a couple of holes through the pan rail itself which need to be increased in size or clearanced out to allow fittings to go through for the 26 sump to fit on. And the girdle itself obviously has to be drilled out to take the fixings from the brace Fairly new product, but we've already got it in quite a few cars. Main ones being Shane's car from ST Hi-Tec. He had it at the GT-R Festival a couple of years ago, and that's been going strong since. It's putting out 600 kilowatt. More recently, we've had JT Performance with their 800 kilowatt R32 GT-R, which sort of cleaned up at GT-R Fest just recently over here. Originally, the braces were just four-wheel drive adapters, and then they decided to tie in the pan rail to the girdle to add more strength there, and that helps reduce block twist, stop the girdle itself moving around, and just generally provide a greater strength to the engine. So most engines don't have the issue of having a four-wheel drive diff attached to them, so they only have to deal with the stresses that are put onto them by themselves, the engine and the gearbox to an extent. The GT-R having the diff attached to the sump adds a whole heap more stress to the engine itself.